Okay, so hello, I'm Ben. I'm a PhD student from Ben-Gurion University. I'm here to present drones cryptanalysis, a joint work made with the help of Raz Ben Netanel, Professor Adi Shamir, and Professor Yuval Alovich, my PhD advisor. So let's start, and I want you to have a look on this picture. Now, can you please tell me what is the drone that is being boxed in yellow is being used for? Is it being used for conducting a privacy invasion attack? Or is it being used for a legitimate purpose? In this case, is taking a selfie. Is it B or C? So the answer is actually D. It depends. And this is a real problem nowadays because many operators now use drones to spy after their spouses, after their neighbors, after celebrities, and even after random people. And this challenge is even expected to get worse in the near future because many businesses around the world now adopt drones for various purposes. Deliveries is only one of them. Moreover, legislation and regulations are being changed in order to support what we call an open skies policy, allowing drones to fly in populated areas. Okay, so we went to the literature in order to check what was suggested in order to detect a privacy invasion attack. And we actually found that there are various geofencing methods that were suggested over the past few years, such as radars and cameras and even some hybrid methods. And these methods are able to detect the presence of a nearby drone. However, let me ask you the following question. Is detecting the presence of a nearby drone actually effective at detecting a privacy invasion attack? And the answer is no, because as I said earlier, their presence is no longer restricted in populated areas. Also, even if you manage to detect a drone, does it necessarily mean that the drone is being used to spy after the organization, as you can see in here? These two pictures actually were taken from the same location of the drone that is being located, that is being boxed in yellow. So the drone's location doesn't necessarily imply that the drone is being used to spy after the victim or after a point of interest. It's actually the camera orientation that determines whether it is being used for a legitimate purpose or not. So we actually concluded that geofencing methods are irrelevant for detecting a privacy invasion attack in an open skies era. Okay, so our main objective is actually detecting a privacy invasion attack. And let's go through the detection scheme. We actually assume that there is a malicious drone operator that operates a Wi-Fi FPV drone. And he used the drone to spy after a victim that can be located up to 5 kilometers from the malicious drone operator. Now, we assume that we managed to, using a radio receiver to intercept the packets that are being sent from the drone back to its malicious operator. And we also assume that the victim is using some kind of a gadget. We'll name it watermarker, and I will explain what the watermarker is actually being used for in 2 or 3 slides from now. So for now, let's talk about Wi-Fi first-person view channel. And Wi-Fi FPV channel actually intended to provide 2 things. One is to stream the video stream from the drone to its operator. And the second one is actually to allow the operator to maneuver the drone while it's in air. In this study, we actually focus on the downlink, which is the video stream. And when you're using Wi-Fi for a first-person view channel, you actually get the encryption only just by using the Wi-Fi standards. So you get the encryption for free. So it means that the video stream is encrypted. However, does encryption ensure confidentiality? So again, the answer is no. I wasn't here if the answer was yes. And let us talk about how first we intercept an FPV stream, more specifically how we can intercept a Wi-Fi network. So we actually apply the 3 stages. We sniff Wi-Fi packets sent from off a specific network. You can do it using applications such as Airmon. We're extracting the time series signal from the unencrypted metadata in the second layer. Now, indeed, the payload is encrypted. However, the metadata that we are using is not encrypted, which is the size of the packet. Now, we use it in order to extract the time series, and we downsample the time series by aggregating the time series in a fixed window. It actually makes things more faster. So let us now talk how you can classify a Wi-Fi network as FPV channel. So the key observation in here is to understand that a drone is basically a flying camera. Now, by combining these two algorithms for moving device detection with algorithms to camera detection, you can actually classify a Wi-Fi network as FPV channel. So, and the way that we do it is actually we managed to find that if you take the intercepted bitrate signal and analyze it in the frequency domain, the most strongest magnitude actually corresponds to the FPS rate. So as you can see in here, this was actually taken from one of the drones that we used. And this will help you actually to detect not only drones, but also cameras. So how you can exclude the cameras from the drones. Here you're using algorithms for moving object detection. This can easily be done by analyzing the received signal strength indication that is also present in the Wi-Fi packet. And combining these two observations to a single algorithm, you'll be able to detect a drone within 3 seconds with high accuracy and very low false positive rate. OK, so after you manage to detect the frame per second rate, you actually get something else for free, which is the resolution that is being video streamed, that is being used for the video stream. And this is actually being done only by dividing the bits per second with the frame per second. You get the resolution. There are many calculators online that can actually solve it to you. OK, so now let's move to the more interesting part on how to detect actually whether the FPV stream that you classified is being used to video stream the victim, to spy on the victim. And in order to do so, I want you to have a look on the third stage of the downlink, which is the video encoding, the video compression. Now, this stage actually follows the H.264 standards. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with H.264 compression standards, basically I will summarize it in this way. Instead of sending an entire frame, a frame is actually described as delta frames, as delta changes from another frame. And this information is being sent in this structure, a group of picture structure, GOP structure. So the result of using this video compression algorithm is basically if there are 2 consecutive frames with high similarity, it means that a lower amount of data needs to be encoded and sent to the drone. However, if there is a big similarity between 2 consecutive frames, actually a bigger amount of data needs to be encoded and sent back to the drone's operator from the drone. And having that in mind, we actually place the drone, as you can see in here, in front of an LED board. This is, the LED board was connected to an Arduino, and we actually used the LED board as flicker. We actually turned it to a 3 Hz flicker, as you can see in here, and intercepted the traffic that was sent from the drone to the controller. Now, as you can see, this is the intercepted bitrate signal over time, and it actually contains 6 beautiful bursts every time that the flicker changed from on to off and vice versa. So we actually concluded that the 3 Hertz flickering LED actually watermarks the created the 6 Hertz phenomena in the intercepted bitrate signal. So understanding this, we actually managed to watermark each and every frequency of the intercepted bitrate signal. And by doing so, you can analyze the influence of how the magnitude was changed as a result of initiating a flicker in a given time. And by doing so, you can decide whether, you can determine whether a drone is being directed to a flicker. Now, if the flicker is actually located nearby the victim, it means that you can imply that the drone is actually being used to spy after the victim. Okay, so for now, you understand how to classify a suspicious radio transmission as FPV channel and how to detect whether the FPV channel is actually being used to spy after the victim. However, with a big sorrow, great sorrow, I won't be able to explain you how to locate the drone in space by analyzing the intercepted bitrate signal. I didn't manage to squeeze it into a 16-minute talk, so the details are on the paper. You are invited to read it. You are invited to ask me in the question episode afterwards. Okay, so we have a flicker, and we want to hide it from the drone's operator in order to not raise his suspicion that something is happening. And we actually analyzed several ways in order to achieve it. However, the way that we find as most effective was flickering between 2 similar U's instead of just turning it on and off, flickering between 2 similar U's, that their only difference is actually in the brightness component. And this actually satisfies the following requirements. It actually exploits the inability of the human eye to distinguish between 2 similar U's. It's also, so it means it's undetectable by direct observation. It means that if the operator will look at the flicker, he won't be able to detect it. Also, it's undetectable by indirect observation. It means that even if you will look on it via the controller, you won't be able to detect it. And as you can see in here, it does watermarks the intercepted FPV channel. Okay. So I want to show you, we wanted to test our method in real scenarios. And in order to do it, we actually applied it to a victim that is on the move, actually driving in a car, and a static victim that is actually located in its living room. And let me show you the demos. Here you can see a siren that is actually flickering in a specific frequency. I think it's 3.9 Hertz. And the victim is inside the car. And here we used a smart film as a flicker. As you can see, the flickering window, it is installed on the window. We use it as a flicker. Now, for each of these scenarios, we also recorded a legitimate use of the drone, and we did it by locating the drone 180 degrees from the house and from the car. We call it a legitimate use. Now, we wanted to evaluate our method on the intercepted bitrate signal in each of the cases. And we fixed the true positive rate to 1.0. It means that all the privacy invasion attacks should be detected. And as you can see in here, in about 2.5 seconds, we were able to detect a privacy invasion attack with very low false positive rate. This is how the spectrograms looked like when the flicker was on. Okay, so I'm about to get to the end. So some additional information that can be found in the paper. You will be able to find the exact details on how to locate the spying drone in space